How is it going on the battlefield out there, all you soldiers and pilots? It is the one and only Creeping with my first jet tutorial video covering the basics, surviving and flying, how to get your foot in the door. Let's get started with tip number 1. Always use afterburners on takeoff. It is so much faster. Let's get to know the controls here. Left thumbstick is yawing from left to right. Helps you with those minor adjustments. Right thumbstick is your pitching up and down and rolling from left to right. Y is switching weapons. B is bailing out, but don't do this. Right bumper is your equipment. Left bumper is how you shoot. Right trigger is accelerating. Left trigger is braking, and left thumbstick clicked in is afterburners. Whenever you're trying to nail a moving target, but it's a ground target other than a jet, hold down the brake to help you get in that little extra shot and give you a little bit more time. This can be used against helicopters, boats, or jeeps, or tanks. Whenever you're pointing towards the ground, always brake if you have the speed. You're going to basically be going against gravity and getting more out of your turn towards the ground. Kind of thrust you upwards in a way, somewhat. And you can accelerate a little bit on the way up. When turning left or right, brake until around 290 knots, and then begin accelerating again until you reach around 340 knots, and then just rinse and repeat. You can use afterburners to take a sharper turn, but to get more out of your turn, you can just accelerate. Practice this in first person, and once you get the hang of it, then you can fly in third person all the time. If you want to be pilots that just circle jerk you all day, try doing a backflip while maintaining 310 knots at all times. I'll cover this in an advanced tutorial later on, but for now, just try this and get better at it. I'll walk you through the whole backflip process later on. Dodging a heat seeker. You want to figure out which way it's coming from and kind of guess, like, what side of the map do they control. Go towards the heat seeker, but keep your distance from it. Close the gap before it can readjust and hit you. If you don't know where it's coming from, just dive towards the ground and you'll probably end up dodging it. But do not get used to this method because the patch is fixing this. It's going to make dodging stingers a lot harder. And currently right now the PS3 has the patch, but you can apparently still dodge them. Now that stinger, we'll treat that like the patch is already hit. So if you get disabled, don't panic bail. Stay in and try to land your jet. You will get better with this. The Flanker can land on a dime, but the Hornet is known for bouncing and taking forever to land, so keep this in mind. Fly against the disable. You'll mainly need to be pitching your jet down against the disable and going from left whenever it's trying to take you right, or whenever it's going right, going left. Find a nice place to land and wait until your jet comes to almost a complete stop and then begin repairing. If you run out of the combat area time, just hop back in, get back out, and it'll reset that. Be careful on takeoff though. You may have objects or obstacles blocking you in. If needed, you can slowly turn your jet by yawing to the left or right by tapping your accelerator. Leading your shots. You always want to be shooting a little bit ahead of your target and essentially following his flight path. Right there, just shooting a little bit ahead of him. Done. Try to catch your target on a turn. Follow his movements and brake or accelerate to get just a little bit ahead of his jet and fire. Air radar is a huge defense against enemies. This will keep you from getting cheap shotted. Right there, zooming in on the air radar, you can see that guy nearly cheap shotted me. Dive down and pull right in behind him. Despite what people think, barrel rolling is not an effective way to dodge attackers. It's only delaying the inevitable. Being unpredictable is the key, so make them think you are going one way but come out somewhere else. ECM Jammer also helps with deceiving the enemy. You can use guided missile to help you with air-to-ground targets, plan your strafe runs, and spot targets up. The farther away you start your attack run on a ground target, the better. You're going to have more room to make your adjustments. Hold the brake until you start pulling up, but keep in mind how much time it's going to take you to pull up. Remember that yawing will help you aim from left to right. And that again is the left thumbstick. Thank you so much for joining me with this jet tutorial. I will have more in the future. Sorry if this is so short, but it definitely covers the basics. Practice these, get better at it. Until next time, I will see you on the battlefield.